Hello, once again. It's good to have you back. Today we're moving on to Job chapter 10, the explanation. So let's find out what's happening to Job. So in Job chapter 10, it's a continuation from 9. So he's still speaking. So Job starts by acknowledging that God created him. He says, "Your hands shaped me and made me. You molded me like clay. You clothed me with skin and flesh and knitted me together with bone and sinew. You gave me life and showed me kindness. And in your providence, you watched over my spirit. You brought me out of the womb." So here Job is clearly saying, God, you created me. I am very aware that you created me. If it was not for you, I would not be alive. He is acknowledging God created him. This thought is supported by Psalms 139, verse 13, which reads, "You created my inmost being. You knitted me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. That my spirit knows very well." Amen. Amen. I know I've put together quite a few verses, especially from Job 10. I just brought them together because they were tying up. I just brought them together. It was just to make the point, to really make you see that you were created in the image of God. You were created in the image of God. It's quite fascinating. And it's quite a powerful thing to know, to understand. All this disputes the theories that are pro-abortion. Why, you might ask? Because God formed you in your mother's womb. He watched you being conceived. It's quite tough because some were conceived in very hard situations. In situations one you might think, are you seriously telling me that God had a hand in this? No, I'm not saying God had a hand in whatever happened to the woman. No. But the fact that the baby happened, it was just a mode of transportation for you to come to planet Earth. Unfortunately, it was that way, but it was a mode of transportation. It doesn't make you less valuable than anybody else. You're still very valuable. You hear so many testimonies of people who came into the world through many different ways we would frown on, but you will find that their lives are so amazing. They made a decision to do something with their lives. And there are people who come into this world through the norm, and yet they do nothing with their life. I'm not advocating for this kind of behavior, that we should go about and start doing things to women. No. But I'm just saying, if this kind of thing that so happens to you, please don't kill the baby. Keep it. Because that being has a destiny. when you look at it, don't look at it as just a fetus or just a zygote. No, it is a human being with a destiny, with a purpose, and a full life. So think twice before any action. A child is precious. It is a gift from God. Your duty as a parent or caregiver is to nurture that being you've been given. Nurture it into its full potential so that it is prepared to face this great big world you've brought it into. And they can become who they were created to be. That's a big weight on your shoulder as a parent, as a caregiver, as a foster parent, as a godparent. As long as you have a part to play in a child's life. I look at children, I look at them, I'm like, whoa, those are mini humans. Those are humans. They might be small, they might look very vulnerable, but they are destiny holders. They are, I don't know how to explain it, but they are there. They're just waiting for their capacity to come into being. That's why you find when a child is truly nurtured, they blossom. They will amaze even the parents. So it's up to us as parents, up to us as humans to nurture these new beings we've been gifted with. Let's move on. You will find, because children are so precious, this is why the enemy fights against pregnancies. He whispers all sorts of words to get the mother to abort the child, abandon the child, kill the child. Human, you must understand that your life is so precious. It's so precious to the extent that the devil hates you. You look in this world and you wonder, who in their right mind abuses children? Who abuses babies? Who abuses kids? Who does that? Well, that very enemy who failed to have you killed by your mother, who failed to stop you to coming into this world, will do all in his power to destroy your destiny. If he messes you up as a kid, he knows you have no future. He knows you don't stand a chance. And his other aim is to make you hate God. Can you imagine? To hate God. God, the very person who wants the best for you, who sustains your life, who gave you this life, to hate him so that you can fully be destroyed. This lets us know that the devil is a very evil being. He is evil. Don't make friends with him. Do not entertain him. When he comes bearing gifts, run. Why? He knows just how valuable you are. He knows exactly who you are. It's a shame you don't know who you are, but the devil knows. So he's going to give you fool's gold in exchange to real gold. So when you accept that fool's gold, you have just exchanged the real gold. By the time you realize, unfortunately, it might be too late. As you know, he came to steal, kill, and destroy. By the time you start blink, 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 waking up, you are dead, you are gone. So run, run. I like that advert. I've forgotten which beer they were advertising, but there was this little bird and there was a cage. But the way they got the bird into the cage is that they put little grains of corn. So the bird is not even paying attention. It's just enjoying the corn. One by one, it is eating, but it's not realizing it is moving closer to the cage. And before it knows it, slam, the door is shut. It is trapped. That's how the devil captures people. Little by little, inch by inch, and before you know it, you don't know what happened. Anyway, let's get back to the subject at hand. I just thought I'll let you know, run when the enemy comes your way. Run, don't entertain him. If you were to ever come to understand who you are, who you really are, you would shock yourself. Such a wonderful thought, huh? Human, I want you to understand and know that the devil hates you with a passion. All the treats and gifts he might offer you are entrapments. And the end of you, if you accept anything from him, is death. There are two kinds of death. I will not talk too much about it, but I'll just give you just a quick one. Dying physically, dead, buried, covered with the sand, you're dead. And then spiritual death, where you cannot even comprehend or understand anything to do with God. It just, it doesn't make sense to you. You have died spiritually. Anyway, there is nothing hidden on this earth. All we do in private will one day be revealed for all to see. So think about how you are living your life right now. Are you acknowledging the one who gave you life? The one who knitted you together? The one who wants to show you kindness? I know it can be hard to acknowledge God or even to talk to him when things are falling apart in your life. Believe you me, we have just come out of a very difficult situation. We did not know or see a way out, but God sustained us and saw us through. I will emphasize the word through. Why? We actually had to walk through the situation. There was no shortcut. We had to go through from start to end. We had to go through. Through means we had to go through the situation. Our deliverance came just when we thought we were done for. It was over. We are finished. But that's when God showed up. That's why I say never give up. Because sometimes we give up when we are just about to cross the finish line. It's just that we can't see it. So hang on. Whatever stage you are in of your situation, hang on. I'm not saying hang on to death or what have you. If somebody's trying to kill you, run. There's no holding on there. Think. There are things you can hold on. Yeah? You are safe. You're secure. You can hold on. Unless you're in prison. Well, you have to hang on there because you're physically restrained. You cannot go anywhere. So you need to hang on where you are. Don't lose hope. Like I was saying, he came through for us when we thought it was all over. And guess what? He came through big. We did not even see it coming. You're just like, ah, God, just like that? Yes, just like that. That's why Sinachi is saying, no one knows what the Lord has done for me. You cannot understand, you cannot comprehend. So when he's done something for you, just take the time to say thank you. When you're going through something, also take the time to talk to him and say thank you. It doesn't make sense, but thank him for the forthcoming victory. Because victory is ours. It has been promised to us. It is ours. My point is, don't give up on God. He is looking, he is watching and testing the hearts of men. Do you remember what Satan said to God in the very first chapter? What did he say? He said, does Job fear you for nothing? Have you not put a hedge around him and his household and everything he has? You have blessed the work of his hands, so that his flocks and herd spread throughout the land. And then what? He says, stretch out your hand and strike everything he has, and he will surely curse you to your face. From this statement, you can see that the devil is also watching you. And he's got an eye out for you. He had been probably trying to harm Job for a good while, but to no avail. That's why he asked God to give him permission to test Job, to test his loyalty by taking away his prosperity, his children, and his health. This test made Job feel like he was being poured out like milk. He was being cuddled like cheese. So he was feeling the pain, he was feeling the agony. He could slowly feel his life draining out of him. Despite how Job felt, he still acknowledges, God, no one can rescue me out of your hand. Please, Lord, help. He's saying, no one can wrest me out of your hand. Why? Because I think deep down he's still thinking, it is God who's doing this to me. It must be God. Why is he doing this to me? He further goes on to say, God, what have I done wrong? Here you will find Job is speaking from the bitterness of his heart. Because you used to have a good life, and now all is gone. His friends are accusing him of doing wrong. His skin is slowly rotting. And above all, he feels God is silent. Deep in his heart, Job knows that God is a good God. That is why he's still pleading with God to come to his rescue, to have mercy on him. And you can hear him say things like, do not condemn me. Does it please you to oppress me, to span the work of your hands, while you smile on the schemes of the wicked? It seems like Job knows, or is starting to suspect maybe the enemy has a hand in this. Or he's simply thinking, that neighbor of mine is not as righteous as I am. In fact, I know he's a bad dude. How come he's still prosperous? How come he's still in good health? How come everything is going well for him? You must be smiling on the schemes of the wicked. This is not fair. I don't deserve what's happening to me. You're punishing me for no reason. It is not fair, Lord. Job is also aware that God is always watching us and sees more than the human eye can see. For Job says, do you see as mortals see? Do you have eyes of flesh? He also says, if I sinned, you'd be watching me. Surely you would know. Why not just tell me then what I did? If I sinned, you would not let my offense go unpunished. So you can see that Job truly understands that God is powerful and all-knowing. But he wants relief from all this pain he is feeling. He wants to know the reason why all these things have befallen him. Deep down, he believes he is innocent. But he still feels ashamed because of all the bad things that are happening to him. Job says, I cannot lift my head, for I am full of shame and drowned in my affliction. Have you ever been there? I totally understand where he is coming from. When bad things happen to you and everyone is pointing and talking and mumbling about what you have done wrong or your sin catching up with you, how do you defend yourself? You start to think of things you might have done wrong unknowingly because your conscience is telling you, I've tried. I think I've asked for forgiveness for anything that I might have done. I've thought of it all. I've even prayed, Lord, forgive me for all the unknown sins that might be causing all this. You have done it all. So you're thinking to yourself, what unknown sin is blocking my progress? When you're in this situation and you're a Pentecostal, God knows how Pentecostals, not all of them, but some of them, how Pentecostals can be to our wounded. You just hear one little story. Ah, Betty Hidden, this and this. It's all over the world. Kenneth Copeland, this and this. It's all over the world. What's his name, the singer? Israel Houghton. Is that the one? Yeah. It's all over. Are we praying for them? Is somebody taking the time to go talk to them? Or we are so quick to throw stones? It seems, well, this is what I've observed. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm just saying what I've observed. We are not very quick to come to the rescue. We tend to add insult to injury, mostly by spreading rumors and unfounded stories that further ruin somebody's reputation, and if not careful, their faith too. How many Christians do you know that have backslided, who suddenly stopped coming to church? You said, if this is all Christianity, I was better off in the world. Many people say, when I used to go to the beer hall, when I used to drink, those people were so caring, man. Those people were so caring. Not this thing I'm seeing in church. I've heard quite a few people say that. So quite a few people have backslided. Why? Because they did not receive the proper help in their time of need. Instead, people picked up stones and struck hard, and that was the end of that Christian. It is sad to lose one in such a manner. As Christians, we must band together and help our wounded. I'm not saying embrace sin. No, no way. I'm not saying that. But investigate a matter before spreading stories and lies. This is why you find Job saying to God, are your days like that of a mortal, or your years like those of a man, that you might search my faults and probe after my sin, though you know that I am not guilty and that no one can rescue me from your hand. Even God, so from what we just read here, you will find that even God searches and probes before proclaiming a verdict. What more? We, mere mortals, what do you think we should do? Come on, Christians, let's up our game. You need to remember that Job was in great distress to the extent he says, I loathe my very life. Therefore, I'll give free rein to my complaint. Ndisi and Akalaru, Ndisi and Itauro, just let me be. He is speaking out of the bitterness of his soul. This is why he also said things like, God was displaying his awesome power against him. God was bringing new witnesses against him. And God was increasing his anger towards him. He felt that God's forces were coming against him, wave upon wave. Wow. I cannot even begin to try and understand what Job is going through. But as humans, we have gone through one or two things that makes you feel despondent. Unfortunately, this way of thinking will only leave you despondent. God knows our days are few, hence he does not have a personal vendetta against you. So if that thought ever crosses your mind, cast them out. Look to Philippians 4 verse 8. What does it say? Think on whatever is true, on whatever is honest, on whatever is just, on whatever is pure, on whatever is lovely, and whatever is of a good report. If there be any virtue, if there be any praise, then think on these things. You've got the power to control your mind. That's why the Bible goes on to say God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of love, power, and a sound mind. There's a scripture that also talks about casting down imaginations, holding your thoughts captive. Cast you any thought that is contrary to your well-being. You have to fight. That's why Joshua wrote the book Battlefield of the Mind, because it's all in here. It all happens in here. Imagination, they call it. I don't know if your imagination is as active as mine, but you can actually see pictures like you're watching a movie when you start imagining. And by the time you finish imagining, you're huffing and puffing. It's not happened. You are just imagining it. So use your imagination for good. It's hard, but I'm working at it. Using my imagination for good. Whenever a thought comes in which is not good, hold it captive. Said, no, I'm not going to be thinking that. No way. Those days are gone. I'm a new creation. I think new things. To end this chapter, Job now wishes he had never been born. He wishes he had died at birth. He is wondering why trouble are suddenly catching up with him in his old age. He's asking God, my few days not almost over? Why won't you just let me be? He just wants his ordeal to be over and done with, so that he can have some peace before he dies. To be fair, no one wants to live a life of pain and suffering. If given a chance, many would choose death over pain. But one thing people forget is that trouble is temporary. So I can see I'm now at 34 minutes. I'm going to stop and continue part 2, because sometimes it's difficult to load the video when it's too long. I don't know why, but it is difficult. So I'll see you in part 2.